Noah's a Junk. I'm Notorious JIM. And holy shit, I've been sick for a long, long time. So I'm sorry I've been away for a while, but I was actually catching up. I got sick on Christmas Day, so I was dealing with that for a while. But of course, I didn't want to film an episode about the Doctor Who's Christmas special way into July. There's also another episode I wanted to do. I wanted to do it right after Christmas, but I didn't get a chance to. But I wanted to talk about the new consoles that's out right now. Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I know a lot of people got it around launch or they got it around Christmas time, but there are a lot of people who still haven't picked up either Xbox One or PlayStation 4 yet. Either they're just trying to decide between the two, or they're trying to decide whether they're going to switch to PC gaming, or just like me and other people, you just can't afford it at the moment. So I wanted to do a video on video games that have been released in the current generation consoles that I think you should totally play before you move on to the next gen. I think some of these games I actually put on my list because they're games I played and the games I enjoyed. Now, not everything that's great is going to be on this list. That's one thing I want to clarify. Another thing is I don't want to put certain games that have a franchise which certain games are similar to each other. So you guys should kind of skip that because those are going to be on the next gens. Like, for example, Call of Duty or Gears of War. I'm pretty sure they're going to make another Gears of War or another Assassin's Creed. So those aren't on this list. It's more of games that are only on this console generation and they may not transfer into the new console generation. Or certain sequels or certain games within a franchise that I think stand out and need to be played. Whereas the rest of the franchise will just fuck off. You don't have to worry about it. So this is my personal list. It's not the end-all be-all of the games that's currently on this generation of video game consoles. But it's more of how I feel and more of the games that I've enjoyed over time that I think you really should check out before you move on. Let me start with the first game on my list. It's more of a franchise. The Batman Arkham franchise. I'm pretty sure they're going to make another one on next gen, but I'm not quite sure how good it's going to be. As far as I'm concerned, the franchise reached its peak with Arkham City. And a lot of people like Arkham Origins as well, and it's not a bad game, but I think Arkham City is the one you actually really need to play. If not, at least Arkham Asylum. Those two games are the ones that actually define the franchise and actually set everything up to move forward. So if they do make another one for next gen, I'm pretty sure it's not going to live up to what they've done before. So I think you should either play Arkham City or Arkham Asylum or both. I enjoyed both back to back, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have double packs in the future. I hear that if you're a PC gamer, I hear they have sales on Steam for both of them together, so I think you should check that out. Next game I want to talk about is BioShock Infinite. Now, you can actually play BioShock 1 and BioShock 2 and enjoy them, but BioShock Infinite is where they took it to another level. And if they do make another BioShock game for the next gen, I feel it's not going to be the same because it's going to be its own thing entirely. They changed their formula a little for BioShock Infinite, and I feel that on the next game they make, it's going to be completely different from BioShock Infinite. So this makes it to my list as a game you should actually play, you should actually enjoy, because it tells a story from a first-person view that's not just a point and center your gun and shoot kind of game. It has a lot going on for it. It has a lot of story in it. It has a lot of ways to make you think and really enjoying, it involving you into this world. I really did enjoy it a lot. I enjoy all the BioShock games, but the first one, yes, fine. It's awesome. But the second one, it's kind of a clone of the first one. But BioShock Infinite is the one you definitely need to play for this current generation. Now, as you can see, I'm moving along as fast as I can because I have a long list. I don't have a lot of time to devote to every single video game because I can in certain video games. I can talk my ass off and explain why you should play this game. And I don't want to make an hour video. I don't want to make a 30-minute video. I'm going to try to avoid making a 30-minute video. So I'm going to run through as fast as I can and wrap this up as fast as I can so we can get back to what we were doing. Have a lot of fun, and you better get to play these fucking video games. With that said, let me move on to another game. The first game in this series, Dead Space. Now, Dead Space, it kind of moved into a kind of a shooter game, and was less scary, more gory as time went by. But the very first game terrified the fuck out of me. It was one of those games I didn't want to play at night because it reminded me so much of Aliens before they made an actual shitty Aliens video game. It was more of capturing what I loved about the original Alien and a sequel Aliens, and it just captured that fear so well. I really enjoyed it. And it's one of those games you could constantly play over and over again and never get bored of. I mean, of course, you'll get used to the scares and stuff jumping out at you. But the fact that you're not a space marine and you're not a badass, you're just an engineer in a situation that you're not qualified to fucking deal with, and you have to deal with it because you have to survive. It actually changes the way the game plays out compared to other video games, which is the same fucking shit over and over. You've been trained to do this, and you know what you're doing. You're a killing machine. Unlike that, you know, Isaac's a fucking regular guy, and you can relate to that. It is really shitty situation. I really enjoyed the game, and I think the first one stands out as basically one of the best. And the other one's kind of taking a different route, which is fine if you like that. But I feel if you need to play at least one Dead Space for this generation before you move on, you should play the first one. The next game, one of my fucking favorites, I cannot shut the fuck up about this. I actually did a video about this. Deus Ex Human Revolution. Now, I recommend a director's cut, but either way, it's still fine. The director's cut's more polished, it's a better version of the game. And I feel if you haven't played it yet, which is what this list is about, games that you probably missed because you were playing other stuff and didn't get a chance to get around to it before you move on to next gen, I would suggest you play the director's cut, Deus Ex Human Revolution. It's a mixture of Blade Runner and RoboCop. That's enough said. There's so many things happening in this game, and it stands out again, just like BioShock. It's a first-person shooter, but it shows it could be more than just a first-person shooter. That first-person shooters don't have to be generic, like games I won't call out, but they're obviously now on this fucking list. And it takes it to another level. I really enjoyed it, and the stuff they fixed with the director's cut is pretty cool too as well. And I think that's where you need to start, the director's cut, if you're going to play this game. But this is a must-play. It's one of my favorite games. It's definitely a must-play before you move on to next gen. Because God knows how fucking long it's going to take for them to make another fucking Deus Ex. I mean, seriously. But, of course, I'm hoping it's within the next 3 years or so. But as far as I've seen, nothing's been announced yet. So, we have to assume. The next game, Dragon Age Origins. I actually had a lot of fun with this game, and I feel like they don't make games like this for consoles anymore like they used to. If you do find one, it's not a big release like Dragon Age Origins. But I did enjoy it, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it, but it's kind of dated. I admit that. Is it better than the second one? Of course it is. But it's more geared towards RPG, which is fun, and it reminds me a lot of the original Knights of the Old Republic, if you were into that at that time. So yeah, it's a great game. It's fun, but playing it recently, I admit the graphics are very dated. But I think it's something you should play if you're a big RPG fan, and you may enjoy it, you may not. But I think the storytelling is rich. I think the downloadable content is pretty great, and I think it's something that you should actually give a shot because, as far as I know, Dragon Age 3 is going to be sort of a mixture of the first one and the second one. And who knows, God knows where this is going. But as far as I know, it's a big title. It's the only game that plays like that. And I really enjoyed the mechanics of it. So I think you should actually check that out, regardless of how dated the graphics look. There are a few things that end with forever. They're actually good. All I can think of is Diamond Czar. Other than that, we have Batman, Hannah Montana, and Duke Nukem. I have Duke Nukem on my list as one of the games you need to play before you move on to the next gen because it's absolute fucking shit. A lot of people defended this game. At one point, I actually defended this game because I really wanted it to be a good Duke Nukem game. Being a Duke Nukem fan, I did enjoy the game for what it was, but for what it was, truthfully, it was an unfinished product. And that's something that we will see after the release of Duke Nukem come from Gearbox as well, with Aliens and other games they're starting to push out, which is half-ass projects that they put the blame on other people for. And I did enjoy it at first. And I admit, getting buzzed or getting drunk or whatever and playing Duke Nukem Forever, It's a really good time, and you can do all sorts of stuff between the load times if you want to, cut your yard or fucking do some house chores while it's loading. But other than that, it's a great, solid first person shooter. But story wise, it's okay. But I guess you can deal with that. It's a Duke Nukem game. Graphics are dated, mechanics are dated. If you just fucking look in a mirror and just jump up and down as Duke Nukem, it's just awful, just fucking awful. And I have it on this list because this is supposed to be games you need to play before you move to next gen. I didn't say it was fucking good games you need to play before you move to next gen. I said it was games, and this particular game, it's not that good. It is not that fucking good. But you need to really play this shit. Get it somewhere for $5 somewhere in a bargain bin discount gaming store or something, and just have at it. Just see how bad a product can be as you enjoy it. It's more like a bad movie that you enjoy because it's bad and not because it's really good. It's more like, to me, it's more like Punisher Warzone. You watch it because you enjoy how bad it can be, but you do see the potential of what they were trying to do. And that's the only way I can to basically sum up Duke Nukem Forever is it's the Punisher Warzone of fucking video games. Except less finished, I guess. This game we're going to move on to a game I've actually been playing a lot lately. I come back to it over and over. I leave it for a little while, come back to it because it feels like it's never fucking ending. Skyrim. Everyone's played Skyrim. Everyone's at least experienced it a little bit of gameplay of it. There's a lot you can do, and it's one of those situations which you play the game with your friends, and they're playing their campaign, you're playing your story, and then you two share stories of stuff you ran into or stuff you've done or dragons you fought or things you found that the other one hasn't found yet. So it's a great game to play. A new Elder Scrolls on next gen is going to be amazing once they release that. I know they have Elder Scrolls Online coming out, and I hear a lot about Fallout 4, which is coming out, so that's going to be pretty cool as well. But before all that happens, you should enjoy Skyrim, at least a little bit of it. There's so many things you can do, and the world is so big, you actually get lost in the world at times and not know what to do, and just wander around like an asshole the whole time, killing wolves and bears and shit. So there's a lot you can do with the game. I really do enjoy it, and I'm currently playing. I've had it for a long time, and I've never beat it because every time I play it, I get on the storyline and then I dick around for a long time. So that's something I want to beat eventually, like officially beat it and do everything, and then probably get all the money I can collect and find everything I can collect, and then eventually just start killing off everyone in villages or whatever because I have nothing else to do. But that's what I want to do with the game eventually. I think it's a game you need to play before you move on. The next game is a game I actually enjoyed, and I got a chance to play the second one and the third one. It just does not capture what the first one did, so that's why I'm not mentioning the second and third in this list. I think Fear, the first Fear, is a great game. It was actually a solid shooter. It reminds me of a John Woo kind of action thriller, shoot 'em up. There's a lot going on in the game in which you have to use bullet time, and it doesn't feel like it's more of a perk to throw in the game just to make the game better. I had to use bullet time in this fucking game. It was so hard at times. There's times I had to fight multiple people, and the only way I could survive is I had to rely on bullet time. So it made it necessary for you to be able to beat the game is to have bullet time and have it filled up when you need it. Also, health packs and stuff. It's pretty cool. We don't have that nowadays as much. It's always regenerating health, which is pretty fine. I prefer regenerating health. On certain games I prefer health packs. This is one of the games I prefer health packs. Made it extra hard, considering the fact that you have to rely on bullet time and health packs while you're fighting machines and ghosts and fucking soldiers, super soldiers and all. It was a great experience, great story. And it wrapped up in a way that made me really want a sequel, and then we got a sequel, and I was like, okay, I guess we got a fucking sequel. And all right, I got what I asked for. Possibly. No, I didn't. All right, we're moving on to Fallout 3, which I just mentioned actually Fallout 4, but Fallout 3 is a great game. I'm not going to put New Vegas on this list because I personally have not played New Vegas yet. I actually hear this better than Fallout 3. I'm not sure. I never got around to playing New Vegas. I just couldn't really get into it yet. I enjoy Fallout 3. I really enjoy running around using VAT systems, and it was awesome. It's an awesome game. If you ever played it, it's a first person shooter. And it's similar to Skyrim, so you'll enjoy it. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game. There's a lot of stuff you can find. It's kind of the same thing. I already described Skyrim. Fallout 3 is the same thing, basically. You know, conversations with your friends about stuff you found, people you fought that the other person hasn't found or fought yet. So, still a great game. Downloadable content's cool too. I think it actually has more downloadable content but than Skyrim, I think. I'm not exactly sure about that, but I have to look into it. But it's a game you have to play before you move on to next gen. Graphic wise, it's pretty decent still. The PlayStation 3 doesn't have the best graphics on it. I think it's 720p for it. The Xbox has 1080p. I've bought both versions of the game, actually, because when I originally bought an Xbox 360, of course, my Xbox 360 crashed on me, so and we're getting on PlayStation 3, I can see the difference in the graphics. But it doesn't matter in the end because either way, it's still a fun fucking game. Next game, fucking Ghostbusters. I think you need to play Ghostbusters because it's one of those situations where they brought together the whole fucking cast for this one video game. It's funny, it's entertaining. You feel like an actual Ghostbuster if you ever wanted to feel like an actual Ghostbuster. These kind of games where it's like a movie tie-in or a movie licensed video game, they usually suck. Some of them are actually pretty good, and those ones that are actually pretty good are sometimes lost in certain console changes. This is going to be one of them, like Scarface, The World Is Yours is actually a pretty good movie tie-in or a movie licensed game. And we're never going to get an HD version of it or anything like that. So, same thing with Ghostbusters. I think it's a really good game. Bring together the entire cast. Maybe the only chance for us to actually get a Ghostbusters 3. We consider this a Ghostbusters 3. Probably the closest we'll ever get to it. Story's a little cheesy because it's basically bringing you through, making you revisit places that you've seen before in the movies. But other than that, it's a fan game. If you really like Ghostbusters, you'll enjoy the game. It's pretty fun to play. We're moving on to Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 was better than 4, which is fine by me. 4, I didn't really enjoy it at all. But there's still things I didn't like about Grand Theft Auto 5. Shocker. But a lot of people loved it. Of course, it's a great game. There's nothing wrong with the game. But I felt like Grand Theft Auto 4 was overrated. And I feel like Grand Theft Auto 5 is not overrated, but it's a standard good game. It's not as badass as it could have been. I think it didn't really explore the fact that you're playing with 3 different characters as well as it could have. But it's an awesome game. It's the best one so far, if you don't count San Andreas, which is now on this current gen. But yeah, it's a game you need to play before you move on because Grand Theft Auto 6 most likely is going to be on next generation. So this current gen is, for this is the Grand Theft Auto you need to play. Fuck Part 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. The Last of Us is on my list because it's a totally different game that's been released lately. And I really did enjoy the fact that it's more of a survival horror game, despite the fact that I didn't like how you were forced to survival horror about certain things in the game, certain game mechanics, like not being able to pick up certain weapons at first, or not being able to keep your shiv, which I think is kind of weird that they break. I guess it's a way of working around it where it forces you to deal with certain situations differently, and it's very survival horror because the game pushes you towards that direction versus it being naturally like that. The storytelling in this game is amazing. Some of the jump scares are awesome. Just all around, it looks great. It's a great looking game. It's beautiful. If you like the Uncharted games, which I didn't put on this list as well, even though I'm a big Uncharted fan. If you like the Uncharted games, you'll love this game because it has some of the Uncharted mechanics, but it feels unique at the same time. It's not just Uncharted with horror in it. And it's a game you do need to experience before you move on to next gen. Max Payne 3. I think Max Payne 3 is one of those games that you enjoy for the story. The game mechanics are simple. It's a run and gun game. It's not much to that. It's basically Max Payne updated as much as they can update him for this current generation. But there's nothing wrong with that. Max Payne was always run and gun. It's a run and gun game. It knows what to do. He knows how to do it. He knows what his audience is, and it's just a fun story. So you play Max Payne for the gun battles and the bullet time and everything else you play Max Payne for. But Max Payne 3 brings a brand new storyline that's amazing. I think you'll enjoy the storyline. And you enjoy having a character that declines into absolute shit during the fucking load scenes as he just gets wasted and falls around and passes out and speak incoherently. And I think it's kind of cool to play a character who is just fucking just gone. Just a lost cause. But you still care about the character. It's one of those underdogs that you want to see make it and win. And story wise, it's a really great game. And I'm not sure if they're ever going to make a Max Payne 4. So I think personally, this is a great game to play and experience before you move on to next gen. If you just want a great game to run and gun with, Max Payne's your man. Okay, I was trying to avoid this video running past 30 minutes, but it's like I'm coming closer to the 30-minute mark, so I can't avoid this. But I only have 2 games left, so I can just actually go into a little bit more detail about these 2 games. The first one I have left is Red Dead Redemption. It's one of the games I feel you definitely fucking need to play before you move on. Red Dead Revolver, I didn't get my hands on that, but I've heard a lot of stuff about it. I've seen friends play it, so I know that's totally different from Redemption. But getting my hands on Redemption and playing it, I cannot put it down. I don't usually like Western games. I'm just not a big fan of it. I find them kind of boring. It's like I find certain Western movies boring, except for certain movies like 3:10 to Yuma or Unforgiven or like Tombstone or something like that. But yeah, I just don't get into Westerns. This is one of the games that sucked me in where I was actually involved with it. I was really engulfed into this world. I was enjoying everything I was doing, from bounty hunting to saving people, from random bandits to like doing missions, and just I was getting involved into the storyline of playing a character who's getting fucked over, but of course he's trying to do the best he can to provide for his family. It felt like real characters. I can really relate to these characters. I enjoyed playing this game. Great gun battles. Game felt like this game coming after Grand Theft Auto 4 was fucking amazing. Grand Theft Auto 4 was a game in which most missions involved you chasing someone down. Most missions involved you chasing someone in the car, a fucking boat, whatever. It's Grand Chase Auto. I really hated that. It took a lot out of the game. And the only thing people really talked about was the big heist mission in the middle of the game, which I feel is what they took from Grand Theft Auto 4 and expanded in Grand Theft Auto 5. But going for that and going straight into Red Dead Redemption with basically almost every mission ends with a fucking gun battle. It's amazing. I enjoyed playing this fucking game. In fact, I won't just recommend Red Dead Redemption. I recommend the Game of the Year edition. I had so much fun with this game. It's amazing. All the stuff you can do, and it's just awesome fucking game. I totally think this is one of the games you definitely need to play before you move on to next gen. And the last game on my list, one of the only games that's a movie tie-in or a movie-based game that did its own thing that I actually enjoyed a lot. Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena. Now the reason why I chose that is not for Assault on Dark Athena. It's a great game. It's alright. But it's for Escape from Butcher Bay. The game comes in a 2-pack with Assault and Escape. And Escape is the game you really want to play. It was originally released on the first Xbox. And they had an issue with making it playable for Xbox 360. And they had all sorts of issues with it where they couldn't do what they wanted to do with it. So they had to remake the game for Xbox 360. And during that, they also made it available for PlayStation 3. And with the production time they had and the money they had in reproducing the game, they had enough time to do another entirely different game. Now that game feels kind of rushed. You can tell it was kind of rushed. The game looks great, but it's just the story and the way it plays. It's kind of shorter, so it's give or take. But that doesn't matter. What matters is Escape from Butcher Bay. If you're a Riddick fan, it's a game you definitely need to play. It's a game you'll really enjoy, and it explains little things that I kind of didn't want to be explained from the movies. And I do want to do a Riddick movie review one day for the new one and do one of the whole trilogy. But yeah, it ties into that, and I really did enjoy being Riddick in the first game. The second game was me just playing it simply because I bought the disc, so I had to. Assault of Dark Athena is not a bad game, like I said, but Escape from Butcher Bay is the reason why you fucking buy this. And it's something you definitely need to enjoy before you move on to the next generation. That's all I have on my list. Now, there are other games I left out, like I said, because there were games that I either haven't played yet, or I don't really care for, or I don't think they need to be experienced on this current gen. They're gonna make sequels that's probably better than them on the next gen, or it's gonna continue better than the ones we have now on the next gen. You don't need to play. I don't need to mention the new Need for Speed. We're gonna have another one, of course. Assassin's Creed. We're gonna have another one. I actually had Mass Effect on this list, but they're making a new Mass Effect storyline, and I want to see how that's gonna play out. Mass Effect as a whole, I'm not sure if it's something you absolutely have to play. I would say the first one, but I went back to playing the first one. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did back when I first played it. So I love the series. I really do love the series, but I'm not sure if that needs to be on this list. There's plenty of games that I would love to put on this list that I don't think really truly belong on this list. So this is just my personal opinion. Feel free to share your own opinion and share the games that you think definitely need to be played before you move on to the next gen, when they actually start fucking making fucking games for these systems. And yeah, let me know. Share your opinion. I am the Notorious J.I.M. and I bid you a good day.